Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Sunil Verma and with me is Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. Both the Houses of Parliament face frequent disruptions following opposition protests over price rise and other issues. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate and lay foundation stone of multiple projects in Gujarat tomorrow. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh calls for innovative and self-reliant ammunition base for national security. Supreme Court upholds Enforcement Directorate powers of inquiry, arrest and attachment of property under provisions of Prevention of Money Laundering Act. ED questions Congress President Sonia Gandhi for third day in connection with National Herald money laundering case. Former President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's 7th death anniversary being observed today. 83rd Raising Day of CRPF being celebrated today. 44th Chess Olympiad to begin at JLN Indoor Stadium in Chennai tomorrow. And in cricket, third and final ODI between India and West Indies to be played at Queen's Park Oval in Port of Spain this evening. The Lok Sabha was adjourned till 2 p.m. today following uproar by the opposition parties against the imposition of the GST on essential commodities and other items. When the House reassembled at 12 noon after the first adjournment, the members of DMK, TRS and left parties trooped to the well demanding rollback of the GST imposed on essential commodities. They also demanded revoking the suspension of 4 members. The chair repeatedly urged the agitating members to go back to their seats and take part in the discussion as the government is ready for the discussion. The sloganeering opposition members did not pay heed to the repeated appeals. As pandemonium continued, the Speaker adjourned the House till 2 p.m. The Rajya Sabha was also adjourned till 2 p.m. when the House met after a second adjournment at 12:18 p.m. Suspended MP Sanjay Singh refused to leave the House despite repeated appeals by the Deputy Chairman Harivansh. He continued to protest over his suspension and Gujarat Hooch tragedy. This forced the Chair to adjourn the House till 2 p.m. Earlier, when the House met after the first adjournment at 12 noon, opposition members including Congress, Aam Aadmi Party and others trooped to the well. Amid ruckus, the Chair announced the suspension of Aam Aadmi Party MP Sanjay Singh for his unruly behaviour in the House yesterday. Afterwards, the Deputy Chairman repeatedly asked him to leave the House, but he continued his protest, leading to adjournment of the House till 12:18 p.m. In the morning, when the Upper House assembled for the day, it was adjourned till 12 noon following opposition protests over various issues including price rise and Gujarat Hooch tragedy. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu rejected adjournment notices moved by members from Congress, TMC, Left, Aam Aadmi Party and Samajwadi Party. Following this, the opposition members created noisy scenes.
Congress and Trinamool Congress Party held separate protests in front of Mahatma Gandhi's statue in Parliament Complex, demanding discussion over price rise and GST on food items. Both the parties also demanded revocation of suspended MPs of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. They alleged that government is avoiding discussion on the issue of price rise and GST hike.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate and lay foundation stone of multiple projects at Sabar Dairy in Sabarkantha worth more than 1,000 crore rupees. These projects will boost rural economy in the region and help in increasing income of local farmers and milk producers. We have more from our correspondent.
The Prime Minister will inaugurate 2 major projects of Sabar Dairy which will benefit the milk-producing farmers in Sabarkantha. These include a powder plant with a capacity of around 120 metric tons per day and aseptic milk packaging plant with a capacity of around 3 lakh litres per day. Both the plants are equipped with the latest technology. The total cost of the powder plant project is more than Rs 300 crore, while the aseptic milk packaging plant project has been executed with a total investment of around 125 crore. The Prime Minister will also lay foundation stone of Sabar Cheese and Whey Drying Plant project on the occasion. Sabar Dairy is a part of Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation, which is popularly known as Amul. Aparna Khun, AIM News, Ahmedabad.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today said ammunition is a component equally important for all the three services. He stressed on the importance of having a strong base for ammunition. He was speaking at the second conference of Military Ammunition, Make in India Opportunities and Challenges, organized by FICCI in New Delhi.
एमिनेशन उन कंपोनेंट्स में से एक है जो सभी सर्विसेज के लिए समान रूप से ये आवश्यक है। ऐसे में हमारे सभी बलों की लगातार बढ़ती जरूरतों को पूरा करने के लिए एमिनेशन के क्षेत्र में एक मजबूत बेस बनाना समय की यह बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण जरूरत भी है।
Mr. Singh said it is important to move towards indigenization. He added that self-reliance does not mean that India is closed to the world.
इंडिजिनस डिजाइन और डेवलपमेंट की ओर आगे बढ़ना यह अत्यंत आवश्यक है। भारत की रीजनल और ग्लोबल जियोपॉलिटिकल इंपरेटिव और सिक्योरिटी चैलेंजेस को देखते हुए आत्मनिर्भर रक्षा उत्पादन के लक्ष्य को अब पीछे नहीं रखा जा सकता है और माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व और मार्गदर्शन में हम इस ओर तेजी से आगे बढ़ भी रहे हैं।
On the occasion, Mr. Singh inaugurated an exhibition on the subject of military ammunition.
The Supreme Court today upheld the Enforcement Directorate powers of inquiry, arrest and attachment of property under the provisions of Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. Hearing petitions challenging the constitutionality of several provisions of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, the Apex Court said that it is not mandatory for ED officers to disclose the ground of arrest at the time of detaining an accused in money laundering case. A bench comprising Justices A.M. Khanbilkar, Dinesh Maheshwari and C.T. Ravikumar, while pronouncing the verdict, also upheld twin conditions for bail under PMLA. The Apex Court said under the stringent PMLA law, the power of arrest, granting bail and seizure of property are all outside the ambit of the Code of Criminal Procedure, CRPC. The court also held that the ED officials are not police officers and hence the statements recorded by them under Section 50 of the Act are not hit by Article 23 of the Constitution, which guarantees the fundamental right against self-incrimination. The court further held that Enforcement Case Information Report, ECIR, cannot be equated with an FIR and that it is only an internal document of the ED. Therefore, the CRPC provisions relating to FIR will not apply to ECIR.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Both the Houses of Parliament face frequent disruptions following opposition protests over price rise and other issues. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate and lay foundation stone of multiple projects in Gujarat tomorrow. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh calls for innovative and self-reliant ammunition base for national security. Supreme Court upholds Enforcement Directorate powers of inquiry, arrest and attachment of property under provisions of Prevention of Money Laundering Act. ED questions Congress President Sonia Gandhi for the third day in connection with the National Herald money laundering case. Former President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's 7th death anniversary has been observed today. 83rd Raising Day of CRPF been celebrated today. 44th Chess Olympiad to begin at JLN Indoor Stadium in Chennai tomorrow. And in cricket, third and final ODI between India and West Indies to be played at Queen's Park Oval in Port of Spain this evening.
कॉम्पिटिशन्स की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी तो ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पर अभ्यास कार्यक्रम है आपके लिए। अपने सवाल भेजें व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करें abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर। आपके सवालों के जवाब हमारे एक्सपर्ट देंगे हर शनिवार रात 9:30 बजे। इस बार का विषय है इकोनॉमिक्स यानी अर्थशास्त्र। आपके सवालों का हम करेंगे इंतजार 27 जुलाई तक। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
Listen to Commonwealth Games quiz with AIR News Sportscan at 7:20 p.m. every day. All you have to do is reply to a question on the Commonwealth Games. Email your answers at airsportscan@gmail.com. The first correct answer will be selected as the winner and rewarded with a jersey of the Indian Commonwealth Games team. So keep cheering to India, listening to Sportscan at 7:20 p.m. on FM Gold 100.1 MHz and on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official.
We've just received news that Rajya Sabha has been adjourned for the day, following protest by opposition parties over various issues. The Enforcement Directorate is questioning Congress President Sonia Gandhi for the third day today in connection with a money laundering case linked to the National Herald newspaper. Yesterday she was questioned for over 6 hours by the ED. The Enforcement Directorate is investigating alleged financial irregularities at Congress-promoted Young Indian Private Limited, which owns the National Herald. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi was quizzed for 5 days in this case earlier. BJP President JP Nadda today criticized Congress for its protest against ED questioning of Congress President Sonia Gandhi. Talking to reporters outside the Parliament, Mr. Nadda alleged that Congress protests are not a satyagraha but an attempt to hide the truth. He said Congress leaders are protesting to protect a family, not the country. Mr. Nadda said the Gandhi family is required to answer the investigation agencies in a corruption case, but they think they are above the law.
कानून अपना काम कर रहा है और कानून के सामने विषयों को रखना ये किसी भी व्यक्ति का अधिकार भी है और यही आवश्यक है। देश कानून से चलता है, देश नियमों से चलता है और नियम सबके लिए बराबर है और नियम का, कानून का जवाब देना ये सबकी जिम्मेवारी है। मुझे लगता है कि कांग्रेस पार्टी और ये परिवार इनको नियम के अनुसार चलना चाहिए।
Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur also questioned the Congress for its protest, saying why are they fearing if they've not done anything wrong. He wondered whether the Gandhi family is above the law.
हम लोग पहले दिन से चर्चा के लिए तैयार थे, आज भी तैयार हैं और पूरे समय तक चर्चा के लिए तैयार हैं, लेकिन कुछ लोगों को हंगामा करना है और ये सदन से सोनिया जी और राहुल जी की जांच का दूर दूर तो कोई लेना नहीं। नेशनल हेरल्ड केस के बारे में देश के मीडिया को जनता के सामने सब कुछ लाना चाहिए। जमानत पर सोनिया गांधी जी, राहुल गांधी जी, भ्रष्टाचार के गंभीर आरोप इनके ऊपर लगे हैं और जमानत पर भ्रष्टाचार के आरोपों के बाद अगर जांच एजेंसी बुलाती है तो ये क्यों भाग रहे हैं? सवाल ये खड़ा होता है कि ये जमानत पर तो है, क्या जेल जाने का डर सता रहा है?
Today is the 7th death anniversary of former President and legendary scientist Bharat Ratna Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Popularly known as the Missile Man of India, Dr. Kalam is also remembered as one of the greatest teachers ever. He played a pivotal role in India's defense and space research development. Paying tributes, Union Home Minister Amit Shah said Dr. Kalam's whole life was dedicated towards making India a strong nation. He said with his knowledge and simplicity, Dr. Kalam inspired the youth of the country. Mr. Shah said the thoughts and ideals of Dr. Kalam will always guide the countrymen. Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan said Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was an epitome of knowledge, humility and futuristic vision. He said Dr. Kalam was an Ajat Shatru with an unparalleled devotion towards making India a self-reliant nation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has greeted CRPF personnel and their families on the Raising Day of the paramilitary force. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, CRPF has distinguished itself for its unflinching courage and distinguished service. He said the role of CRPF, be it in addressing security challenges or humanitarian challenges, is commendable.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah has also greeted the personnel of Central Reserve Police Force CRPF on their Raising Day today. In a tweet, Mr. Shah said, with their bravery, CRPF personnel have not only made a unique contribution in keeping the security of the country intact, but has also created a proud history of valor which every Indian is proud of. He saluted their service and dedication to the nation. Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur has congratulated the brave hearts of Central Reserve Police Force on the 83rd Raising Day. In a tweet, he said, CRPF personnel have dedicated themselves to the service of the nation with valor, sacrifice and commitment. He added, their contribution to the defense and security of the country is unforgettable.
Corporate Affairs Ministry has said that companies can spend their corporate social responsibility CSR funds for activities related to the Har Ghar Tiranga campaign. In a circular, the ministry said spending of CSR funds for the activities related to this campaign, such as mass-scale production and supply of the national flag, outreach and amplification efforts, and other related activities are eligible for CSR activities under Schedule 7 of the Companies Act pertaining to promotion of education relating to culture. Har Ghar Tiranga campaign has been organized by the government as part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav to encourage people to bring home the national flag and hoist it to mark the 75th year of India's independence.
अब हर घर की छत पर शान से फहरेगा तिरंगा, गुनगुनाए जाएंगे नव विकास के गीत, आन बान शान का प्रतीक राष्ट्रध्वज तिरंगा। आइए आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के पावन अवसर पर इस स्वाधीनता दिवस हर घर फहराते हैं तिरंगा और लेते हैं भव्य और सशक्त भारत के निर्माण का संकल्प।
आइए हर घर फहराएं तिरंगा।
And now let's listen to a special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव। Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News, Birth of a Nation.
India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
On the 27th of July 1889, British India Committee opened in London. Congress leaders like W.C. Banerjee and Dadabhai Naoroji were of the opinion that Indians must gather support for the cause of independence in the British Parliament. In 1888, the Congress recruited an agency in Britain to publicize Indian issues to the British public. Headed by Digby, this organization arranged public lectures in England and began public distribution of pamphlets highlighting the issues in India.
In July 1889, a permanent British India Committee was established with Wedderburn as chairman and Digby as secretary. The committee provided information about India tailored to a British readership. The British Committee published the journal India as an organ for the Congress's views. It also organized public meetings. The influence of its early works resulted in the Indian Councils Act 1892.
As a result of the efforts of the British Committee, an Indian Committee was established in the British Parliament in 1893 as a pressure group to influence policy directly. The British Committee of the Congress continued to function up to 1920, when it lost its support to the Congress due to a decline in moderatist membership and was abolished.
27th July is the birth anniversary of Kalpana Datta, who was born in 1913 in Chittagong, now in Bangladesh. She was inspired by the martyrdom of Khudiram Bose. The cause of patriotism made inroads in her life while she was in Chittagong.
This was further encouraged while she was pursuing her studies in the Bethune College, Kolkata. She was a part of the Chittagong Armory raid in 1930. Kalpana Datta was one of the members of Master Da Surya Sen's revolutionary group who carried forward the work of Pritilada Vadedar. She was also a member of Chhatri Sangha. She was a part of the Chittagong Armory raid and the first attempt at torching Pahartoli Club. During the second attempt made by herself and Master Da, the British were better prepared.
Kalpana Datta escaped at that point in time, but Master Da was finally captured in the year 1933. Later, after 3 months, she was arrested and sentenced to life. However, she was released 6 years later. Kalpana Datta graduated from the Calcutta University in 1940 and joined the Communist Party of India. She served as a relief worker during the 1942 Bengal famine. and during the 1947 partition of Bengal. She wrote her autobiography titled Chottogram Ostragar Akramonkari Der Smriti Katha, which has been translated into English also. She later joined the Indian Statistical Institute, where she worked until her retirement. Kalpana Datta breathed her last in Kolkata on the 8th of February 1995. AIR News salutes the great daughter of India.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Over 202 crore 79 lakh vaccine doses have been administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said over 27 lakh 37,000 doses were administered yesterday. Over 20,000 people recovered in the last 24 hours. Over 18,000 new cases were recorded during the period. 57 deaths were reported during the last 24 hours. Over 4,25,000 tests were conducted during the period. Traffic on the Jammu-Srinagar National Highway has been temporarily suspended due to multiple landslides triggered by overnight heavy rainfall in Ramban sector. However, no vehicles were stranded on the highway as all stranded vehicles were cleared last night. Debris clearance operations are continuing. As a result of the highway closure, the 27th batch of 1,147 Amarnath Yatris heading from Bhagwati Nagar to the cave shrine have been stopped.
India lost 2 valiant peacekeepers of the BSF deployed with UN peacekeeping contingent in the Democratic Republic of Congo during a violent protest yesterday. External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar said he is deeply grieved at the loss of lives of 2 valiant Indian peacekeepers. He said the perpetrators must be held accountable and brought to justice. Dr. Jaishankar also expressed condolences to the bereaved families. Director General of BSF has also expressed condolences. The BSF said the force stands by the families of the slain peacekeepers in these trying times. In the Philippines, a strong earthquake left 2 people dead and injured, dozens in the northern part today. The head of the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, Renato Solidam, said the 7-magnitude quake was centered in the hard-hit province of Abra in a mountainous area. Local media reports that the temblor set off small landslides and damaged buildings and churches and prompted terrified crowds and hospital patients in the capital to rush outdoors.
Ukraine's military has claimed that Russian missiles struck areas of the Ukrainian Black Sea coast yesterday. It said the attacks hit multiple locations, including the Odessa region and port infrastructure in the city of Mykolaiv. The new strikes occurred days after a Russian missile attack against Odessa raised questions about an agreement to resume Ukrainian exports from Odessa and to other Ukrainian ports. Earlier on Monday, Russia said its missile strikes on military installations in Odessa should not affect the government to resume grain exports. On the other hand, the United Nations said that grain exports from Ukraine should resume within days.
The 44th Chess Olympiad is just a day away. The prestigious competition, which has been held in India for the first time, will be inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi at Mamalapuram in Chennai tomorrow. It will be held till the 10th of next month. With 189 countries participating, this will be the largest participation in any chess Olympiad. A report.
All matches at the Olympiad will be played in the classical Swiss League format. A record 189 countries have registered in open section and 162 in the women's section. India is fielding a record 6 teams and 30 players in this edition of the game, each team having 5 members with 4 being fielded in each round. The captain of the team will decide the team composition. The 3 Indian Open teams are seeded 2nd, 11th and 17th respectively. The Olympiad will be held at the 4 Points by Sheraton Mahabalipuram Resort and Convention Centre. The tournament will begin with round 1 on 29th July and continue till round 11th on 9th August. Tripti Srivastav, Sports Desk.
In cricket, India will take on West Indies in the 3rd and final ODI at Queen's Park Oval in the Port of Spain today. The match will begin at 7 p.m. Indian time. India lead the 3-match ODI series 2-0. Shikhar Dhawan-led side will now look to continue their form today with an aim to top up a world record winning feat. India created a world record on Sunday by sealing their 12th consecutive series win in the ODI format. Against the West Indies, the most against a team. International Cricket Council ICC has confirmed that India will host the 2025 ICC Women's ODI World Cup. India, Bangladesh, India and Sri Lanka were named as the four hosts for ICC Women's White Ball events from 2024 to 27 yesterday. Bangladesh will host the 2024 Women's T20 World Cup, while the 2026 edition will be held in England. Sri Lanka has secured hosting rights for the Women's T20 Champions Trophy, slated for 2027, provided it qualifies for the event.
In football, India will take on Bangladesh today in the SAF Under-20 Championship at Kalinga Stadium in Bhubaneswar. The match will begin at 4 p.m. Indian time. India is the current holder of the SAF Under-20 trophy after winning the final of the 2019 edition. 5 teams, Nepal, Maldives, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and India, are in the fray to claim the prestigious title. India will play their next match against Sri Lanka on Friday.
The Sensex and the Nifty to decline more than 0.5% in the afternoon trade. Both stock indices logged gains amid positive global share markets. The Sensex was trading near 55,700 points, while the Nifty was trading above 16,600 level. The Sensex rose 420 points or 0.76% to trade at 55,688. The Nifty also surged 121 points or 0.73% to trade at 16,605 when reports last came in. In the Forex market, the rupee weakened 12 paise to trade at 79 rupees and 89 paise against the US dollar in the afternoon deals.
A common Rashtriya Puraskar portal has been developed by the government to bring together all awards of various ministries, departments and agencies of government under one platform to ensure transparency and public partnership. This portal facilitates every citizen or organization to nominate individuals or organizations for various awards instituted by the government. The portal is available at awards.gov.in. Currently, nominations are open for awards including for Padma Awards and Nari Shakti Puraskar. And now let us take a look at the weather update for the day. The national capital Delhi is expected to have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. Minimum temperature was 27 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 33 degrees. Mumbai is expected to have a generally cloudy sky with light rain, minimum 25, maximum 32. Chennai is likely to have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. The minimum temperature was 27 degrees Celsius and the maximum expected 35 degrees. Kolkata is likely to have a generally cloudy sky with light rain, minimum 26, maximum 33. Srinagar is likely to have thunderstorm with rain, while Jammu will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. The minimum temperature in Srinagar was 22 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 28 degrees. Minimum in Jammu 26 degrees, maximum around 30 degrees. Muzaffarabad is expected to have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Leh and Gilgit are likely to have partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Hyderabad is likely to have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Tiruvananthapuram is likely to have partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. And in northeast, Guwahati, Itanagar, Imphal, Shillong, Aizawl, Kohima and Agartala are likely to have partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Both the Houses of Parliament face frequent disruptions following opposition protests over price rise and other issues. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate and lay foundation stone of multiple projects in Gujarat tomorrow. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh calls for innovative and self-reliant ammunition base for national security. Supreme Court upholds Enforcement Directorate powers of inquiry, arrest and attachment of property under provisions of Prevention of Money Laundering Act. ED questions Congress President Sonia Gandhi for third day in connection with National Herald money laundering case. Former President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's 7th death anniversary being observed today. 83rd Raising Day of CRPF being celebrated today. 44th Chess Olympiad to begin at JLN Indoor Stadium in Chennai tomorrow. And in cricket, third and final ODI between India and West Indies to be played at Queen's Park Oval in Port of Spain this evening. And with that, we end the midday news.